Up Garage Racer. Today we have a very painful topic. It was specifically painful for me when we bought this car in the basic configuration, with regular standard leather seats, not sports seats with all the hugging features. I think for many owners, this is also a painful topic. If their butt sits in proper sports seats, they'll understand what I'm talking about. And in short, this is what we wanted to replace first of all. And today we've got a video about it. If you've got a sore subject, stay tuned, it'll be interesting. And here we go. Our last video about the M Sport wheel was in Ukrainian. Haha, it's cool, but you're always asking about Ukrainian language. In short, we are here in Chimos. So far we are practicing, but everything is as easy as giving up. Sounds like you're just getting warmed up. Keep at it, things will start to click soon. The topic is sports seats. What's the deal? Well, you get it, right? Look, here's a shot we took for you, by the way. Check it out. We have 3 cars. One of them. Here we have the 335 with regular leather flat seats. It's great that we have it here at the service right now. And now we'll show you how everything looks. Then we have this facelifted 320. It has sports seats from the factory without the red stitching. And we have these modified cars. They have modified seats with red stitching, but there are some nuances. We'll explain how we did it and how we modified these seats. Drivers of the F30 don't need an explanation about the issues with the basic seats. Of course, you get used to them. Your butt gets used to these seats. You drive and drive, and after a week, you forget that you sat on a bulky couch with no side support. It's basically nothing. It doesn't support your posture. Nothing inflates anywhere. Well, in short. By the way, they come with a lift. Personally, I had kind of a shock, frustration, disappointment. In the first week when we bought the drum, it was a long time ago, probably a year ago. I was always driving on 2 series, there were factory sports seats, and the drum had stock flat ones. And damn, as soon as I got in the car, I opened the doors, and you look damn. These are crappy seats, not beautiful, basically. And when you sit down with your butt, it's total madness. It feels like you sat on some couch, and it's just uncomfortable, basically. Uncomfortable, inconvenient, in turns, no one is holding you in place. It's like, it was really bad. That was the first thing that bothered me. Even the steering wheel didn't bother me as much. Well, I have an M Sport steering wheel. By the way, we just released a video about the M Sport steering wheel. I have an M Sport steering wheel from the factory in my second car, and in the drum, it had a sport wheel, not the basic one, but the sport one. And it bothered me kind of, but the seats bothered me even more and for longer. I would forget about the steering wheel, but not the seats. Because I was always switching cars, from the second one to the drum. And in the end, when I got out of the second car and into the drum, it was kind of a letdown. For those who want to fix this issue, the flaw of these seats and so on, let's do a small review of the basic leather flat seats from a Beamer from America. Let's go. Oops, we're already inside. The 335. This is our American chop. It's a client's car here at the service. It has the basic seats, typical for American models. These are flat leather seats with an electric package. European models often have bucket seats. Sometimes they have sport bucket seats, and sometimes they're not sport. Mechanical ones are common. Well, we mostly get American models, so that's the most popular seat configuration. Here we have electric adjustment for forward and backward, and electric adjustment for the backrest. For the tilt. There's also lumbar support inflation. It's a pretty comfortable feature. I like it. I always try to pump it up more, to straighten out the lower back. No hugging, nothing like that. It's all basic, all wide. You sit like in an armchair, like on a sofa at home. Many clients would want to swap the regular seats for sports seats. First of all, it definitely improves the interior. You look at the cabin right away, and the sporty seats look great. Number 2, that's clear. The comfort I was talking about. What are the options? Of course, there's an option. You might come across it. These could be sports seats from a European model. Maybe bucket seats. You'd have to get them with the interior, I think. They might be mechanical. Well, it's a rare chance to find, but it's possible. We'll also look at the usual options for American models. There's only one option left, sports seats. They come with red stitching, without red stitching. There are also some custom inserts, but those are all just details. The main concept is sport seats. What options we had for our drum within the From Rags to Riches project, there was an option. What option? The simplest one, but not the cheapest in terms of money. There was an option to install European or American proper sport leather seats with or without red stitching. They cost, this was before the war, a few months, maybe half a year before the war, it was around $1,100, something like that. So definitely over $1,000. That option could have been installed, and I think there wouldn't have been any issues adding side support like the hugging feature. But anyway, we didn't choose the easy or expensive route. We decided to experiment with sport seats, but from an English model. As customers, I wouldn't have played around with this thing, but as enthusiasts, we decided to experiment to see if it would work, what nuances there might be. We got sport. Seats with red stitching. But the nuance is, they cost about twice as less as the Euro seats. The thing is, the controls for the driver's seat, well, for the driver, since the driver sits on the right side, are on that side. So when they just put in two seats like that, nothing will work. So that seat will only work for forward and backward adjustment and nothing else. And the other seat will just stay stuck in place after an accident, stuck in that position, and that's it. So we experimented with that. Then the question came up whether to try rigging the wiring, basically retrofitting it directly into the interior, or to go with a less colloquial option. To transfer the internals from my old seats, the drum ones, like these old seats, and move all the bass with the blocks, controls, and motors onto the English car seats. And here we moved into this registry. There are spot seats from stock, already factory. Take a look at how it would look on the drum if we bought seats like these for over $1,000. We have the usual adjustments for forward and backward, tilt, memory, and lumbar support inflation here. That's cool. And here's a little nuance. It's the hugging feature. It's the side support. It inflates nicely. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. That's what it would look like. But because we decided to play around with the rearrangement, we've got something else. Let's go to the drum. Now we're in the drum. And before we show these buttons, we need Serebeko to insert a photo of the 335 where the regular buttons are. They will turn out... they're exactly the same. We took those buttons, the entire internals with the motors, and we put them into the sport seats from the English car, all the internals. What do we get? The control units are the same as they were before these seats. And here's one nuance. Everything works fine. Except for the hugging. So everything is clear, it's adjustable, everything works fine, the memory function works, and the lumbar support inflation works. But there's no button, you see. In regular flat American seats, there's no button for lumbar support inflation, because it's not supposed to be there. So, we end up with a seat that has lumbar support inflation, but without the button. In the end, it's either you connect it once, inflate it to your liking, and leave it like that, hoping it won't deflate in a few months, basically. Well, if different people are driving, it might not be that comfortable. Or you can leave it as is, or somehow add a button separately. But anyway, we didn't want to mess with it too much, so we left it as it is. The sport seats look great, everything's fine. They're firm, it's a whole different experience compared to what was originally in the F30. By the way, it also had heated seats. And it works fine with the sport seats. And by the way, there was already a video about the sport steering wheel. In combination with the sport steering wheel, it pretty much solved all my issues about this car. When I sat in it for the first week, the first day after the second car, my butt was comfortable, hands on the cool steering wheel. The difference from the second car had already lessened. And then, our viewer might ask, was it worth rigging it, especially without the additional inflation and all the extra work? In terms of money, it was worth it. If you buy seats for about half the price, and we estimated the work to be around $100, you end up paying around $600 to $700 for sports seats. They look great, with red stitching, but without the side support inflation. So the lumbar support inflation works, but the side support doesn't. But look, we're not forcing anything on anyone. Of course, we recommend installing everything as it comes from the factory. Save up and feel fully comfortable in cool seats, especially since, with the war going on right now, the price of seats might have dropped at the salvage yards. So, maybe we'll share the pre-war prices with you later. Right now, it's unclear what the prices are. Anyway, that's how we ended up with this interesting video about retrofitting our drum with sport seats. In the future, we'll be showing you. We also retrofitted it with an LED dashboard and NBT Evo with CarPlay. If there's anything else you'd like to know about retrofitting, let us know in the comments. We're expanding, supporting the economy, and creating new jobs. We're already opening up in Uzhgorod and might open in Kiev as well. Our third service will be multi-brand. We'll see. We're donating to the army. Volunteers. Let's support our army. Glory to Ukraine, death to the occupiers. Now let's get to work.